Good day everyone, I'm Michaela C. Alba and today we're going to talk about this one philosopher of science, Francis Bacon. So Francis Bacon was born on January 22, 1561 and was died on April 9, 1626. So he was a key figure in the transition from intellectual world of the late Middle Ages to the modern Europe. He aims to uh, make a great name for himself by a rare combination of his intellectual uh, energy and worldly acumen to be included with those wise men in his time. But then, with this paradoxical twist, he was disgraced publicly. He studied law and became a member of parliament in 1584. He also became a royal counselor under Queen Elizabeth. And in the reigns of James I, he advanced to the influential position which is the Lord Chancellor. But that short political success was a short-lived because he was brought to the House of Lords on charge of bribery. In any case, he was thrown out of office, paid some fines, and was imprisoned. So after 2 days, he was released and retired public life. He thereafter gave himself over to the literature and scientific experiments. So he distinguished himself as a scholar in several fields and as a scientist, writer, and a philosopher. So his practical experience of the world also made him as a great lawyer and a considerable statesman. So these are the notable works of Francis Bacon. First is the Advancement of Learning, the Commentarius Solutus, the Sapientia Veterum, Instauratio Magna, Novum Organum, and the New Atlantis. So as a Renaissance scholar, Bacon wrote more in Latin than he did it in English. And those essays written in a powerful, direct, and compact styles. And they are laden with quotations, metaphor, witticisms, and illusions. So, which is clearly mark them as a work of Francis. Lastly, the most famous part in this philosophy of science, which is the inductive reasoning. So, it was explained already in our previous class, so we won't dig into that. So, he argued that the scientific knowledge was being obtained after the observations and using the inductive reasoning to interpret those observations. So he also argued that the controlled scientific experimentation is essential for understanding nature. Now let's move forward to the creation of the King James Bible. In 1604, only a year after he had ascended the throne, King James I appointed 54 of England's most eminent scholars and churchmen to begin a work on a new translation of the Bible. This entailed comparing the various English translations then in existence with the Latin Bibles of the Middle Ages, as well as the original Greek and Hebrew text. 7 years later, in 1611, the authorized or the King James Version of the Holy Bible was completed, often referred to as the only classic ever created by the committee. Its uniform excellence and beauty caused it from the start to be acknowledged as a masterpiece, and outstanding literary work whose great popularity persists to the present day. Analyzing a sample from the King James Version will perhaps reveal something of its brilliant use of language. Here is an illustration from the Book of Psalms. In its Greek derivation, Psalms means song. The original Hebrew title means praise. Such is the purpose of these poems. So this is the chapter 8 of Psalms. I'm going to read it. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth, who hast set thy glory above the heavens. Out of the mouth of the babes and suckling hast thou ordained strength because of thine enemies, that thou mightest still the enemy and the avenger. When I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars, which thou hast ordained, what is man thou art mindful of him, and the son of man that thou visitest him? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, yea, the beasts of the field, the fowl and the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passeth through the paths of the seas. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. We observe its brilliant use of language. That's why some writers of both prose and poetry have consciously or unconsciously drawn upon its vocabulary, the rhythm of passage, or the shaping of praise. So its simplicity, beauty, and vigor of language, its sheer poetry has influenced both English and American literature immeasurably. That would be all. Thank you for listening.